Okay, so today's topic is occupation and education. So this is one of the most important topics because uh, now in some schools that the students drop out school at an early age. So without knowing their path, so they fall into trouble. So they may not know how can he or she continue his education and end up as a very useful human capital to a country. So then if we consider about the information about work, so tell me what are the sources that we can get information about work? So these days that many are finding information about work in other countries. So tell me, how do you find information about work? Sometimes when we read newspapers, so there we can find newspaper advertisements about jobs. Then we can find from internet. So these days, since many are interested in migrating, so they find lots of information from videos, YouTube videos from Sri Lankans who are living in those countries. So, if we consider about information about work, that we get information related to various jobs and the training and how to prepare for the jobs that are available. So how can we enter to an occupation, the salaries we can get, what are the work conditions, and what do you mean by employee outlook and prospects? Employee outlook. How do others see the employee in that job? So as an example, so though we consider the workforce in the garments inferior, but they are the people who bring us money, right? So, but when somebody says that she's working in a garment factory, that how do other people look at the person? So sometimes there are students, the graduates working in garment factories, because I saw one advertisement on FB that a child who has been selected to the medical college, so since she cannot afford to the expenses, that she has decided to work in a garment factory to feed the younger ones. So therefore, we should not run down any job. Actually, these are the people who give us life. So we are living because of them. So therefore, employee outlook and prospects. Prospects means the future of the job is very, very important, right? So then when we apply for a job, we have to consider all these things. So how do other people look at this job and what are the prospects in this job? So if we consider about teaching, so then many girls think that it's the most suitable job for ladies. But how do others, what is the outlook of this job for men? How do they feel about this job? So they think that teaching is not suitable for boys. So that's why now in our colleges of education that there are very few number of students. If there are altogether 308 students in this batch, and there are only 22 boys, the rest is girls. Out of them also majority is from the ICT batch. There are nearly four or five students from the English batch. So that is the irony of the country. But anyway, so we find teachers who are paying tax. They are earning a lot, immensely. So therefore, we should not have some kind of wrong prejudices about jobs by just looking at it from the outside, but we have to study them very in deep, right? Right. So why do we need to know the information about the job? Because it is very much important to plan our job. If we know our, if we get correct information about a job, we can plan it. So as an example, if you get correct information about teaching, so if I talk about colleges of education, so you can plan them. So then, because you don't need to end up as teachers by entering this career, you can end up as principals, ISS, directors, lecturers. There are so many avenues. Even you can join universities, become a doctor, a professor. So then you can plan it properly if you know the correct information, because you know that your path. So after entering the colleges of education, what should you do after that? Then what should you do after that? What qualification you should gather related to this job? And what are the avenues we can go along? So therefore, it's very, very important to know, collect information about each career. So then one is, it is essential for career planning. Then provide all the necessary information related to various career prospects. I told you that you don't need to end up as a teacher. There are so many avenues by doing your higher studies. There are so many avenues you can end up without remaining as a teacher. Then help the individual to use the information to select the right career. So if you now imagine that you are good at certain fields, imagine you don't like teaching and you are not suitable for you feel that you are not suitable for teaching, but you love some other profession. Imagine that you love computer, something related to computer, or something related to finance, auditing. So then when you get information, you have some information at an early stage. So you can decide your destination. So for that, what should I collect? What kind of qualification should I collect? Right? So it widens vocational thinking of students, explore world of work, jobs, and then you choose the best occupation for you. Then occupational information help to change the perception of an individual. Perception means the way you think. Right? So then sometimes that before coming to the job, that you have some wrong ideas, like that boys think that teacher so it's not nice to be a teacher. So they may have wrong judgments, but when they come to this profession, you can do lots of things, right? So you don't know the avenues before in investigating into the opportunities. You may have wrong judgments, wrong prejudices, right? So then, if you collect correct information about the job, you can develop required skills which help you to get the job, right? So then, if you want to end up as a finance person, so you may know what kind of qualifications you have to get. You have to do SIMA and all these exams, and you have to do training courses. So then you know your path. If you consider about the career development, right? So then if you consider, as I told you, that if you enter your job as a teacher, that you have to do something related to your subject. Right? So if your subject is English, it's no use of doing psychology or something. So you have to do something related to your subject. So then you have to do a degree, postgraduate diploma. Now in the case of B.Ed, you don't need to do a postgraduate diploma because it is included. Then you can do your master's, then MPhil, PhD. So you can think of you can select your path. So then career development depends on the available occupational information, right? So that your career development depends on correct or available occupational information. So then you know what kind of skills you should improve, what kind of attitudes you should have. Now, if you want to be a teacher, if you don't like students, to work with students, you can't be a teacher, because there are so many students that we come across during the teaching practice. They say that I don't like teaching. My parents wanted me to be a teacher. ඒගොල්ලෝ කැමති නැහැ. ඒගොල්ලෝ හරියට උගන්වන්නෙත් නැහැ. මොකද ඒගොල්ලෝ කැමති නැහැ මේ job එකට. So if they don't like, they should not come to this job. In vain, there are thousands of people who are waiting to get this job. So therefore, you have to find something that you are interested in, because if you find a job you are interested in only, you will be 100% fit to that job. If you love children, if you love to investigate knowledge, if you love to learn new knowledge, if you like to do research, so then that this job is the most fitting job for a person, right? So now in the future, you won't be able to find teachers who have only the diploma, because many are doing degrees now. They are doing degrees, then they are doing some other courses, and now many are now in our college, that the past students, they are trying their best to migrate to other countries. The many have left the country, so they have so many avenues. So therefore, the attitude is the most important thing. If you don't like the job, don't apply for that, right? Then if you get correct information, you know what kind of abilities you have to improve for your career development. Now, if you want to become a researcher, so you can just find where you can do research, and what are the symposia or that conferences that you can take part in. So then they give particular topics for you to do the research. They give some time to do the research with your students. So then you can improve yourself. So especially that action research, if you do action research, who improves if you do action research? How do you improve in action research? Tell me. Who improves by doing action research? Now imagine you are doing an action research for your students to improve their group work. Your students are not interested in doing group work. So you are doing some activities to improve their collaborative work. Then who will improve? How they improve in? Just speak. It doesn't matter if you make a mistake. Who will improve? Tell. Can you hear me first of all? Yeah. So then who will improve by doing action research? දැන් ඒක තමයි famous අපි ඉස්සර කරන්නේ survey කරනවා. So experimental research. Experimental එකත් හොඳයි. So then now the trend is action research. Now in colleges of education, they advise only to do action research. Who improves by doing action research? So now I came to know that there's a conference, Khan Academy, C-A-R-N, Khan Academy. So they have organized a research conference for the students from colleges of education. And Wayamba College of Education, those who are here from 2018 to 2020. So 11 students are presenting their action research details. So then search. There are so many avenues that every institute, they conduct research. So if you do research with your students, now Slater conference, then here NIE, Open University, University of Sri Chavadhanapura. So every university, they are conducting research conferences. So then you can take part by searching information. Right? So in action research, first thing is the teacher improves. Teacher තමයි improve වෙන්නේ. Teacher හොයනවා මේ ළමයිගේ මෙන්න මේ දේ improve කරන්න මම මොකද්ද කරන්න ඕනේ. Then teacher learns. So I can put them into groups. Then I can give activities that improve their collaboration. I can give marks if they do it well in groups. Then change that group. Then you form some other groups. So like that, you can think of some intervention to improve their collaborative activities. So there, first of all, you improve yourself. Now, teacher තමයි improve වෙන්නේ. ඒකනේ වෙන්න ඕනේ. Teacher improve වෙන්න නැතුව වැඩක් නැහැ නේ මොනවා කරලා. So then there are some benefits for students as well, right? So in my case, I searched about Google Classroom. Then I did some research with my students, then flipped classroom model. So they were new concepts. So then I used them. First I improved myself, then my students also improved. Okay. Right. Then occupational sources, right? Where do you find this about information about these occupations? So there are primary sources. Primary sources means that you directly get the information from the institute, right? So relevant information is taken from the relevant institute. Then, or else that you can collect information from an employer. Employer means the person who gives jobs. Qualifications. So please find somebody who has these qualifications. I have these vacancies for them, right? Then sometimes you get the information from the employee or the workers in that factory or in that company. Sometimes government agencies give you information. Then that they are primary source. Then secondary sources means that now once after learning about these information, they publish in papers. They have paper advertisements, they put in websites. So then they are secondary sources. There you find information about the jobs. Right. So other sources of information. Several international, national, and local agencies and bodies, right? So then now these days you find information from several international or national agencies because they advertise about the vacancies on the Facebook. So you can find about them, right? International labor organizations, right? Then collection of occupational information. So then, so you can use several methods to collect occupational information. Then again, you need to know lots of information if you are applying for a job, right? Otherwise, you will be misled. So it's very good to find about the job before applying for it. So one thing is follow-up survey, right? So this follow-up survey can be conducted to gather necessary information about various employment opportunities available in a community. So as an example, in Kandy, there are so many communities. They do lots of productions. So I remember that Nattarampota that they have some kind of that brass work, right? So like that in communities, they have certain jobs. So they prepare, now if people want to buy lamps, that life-size lamps, if they want to offer for religious places, they go to Nattaramput. So they can find these brass lamps to a certain rates. That means not like that they are selling outside. So they give certain discounts. Right. Then collect information related to specific skills required for a specific job. Then if you want to do certain jobs, you need to improve certain skills. Now, if we consider about automobile training, that if you want to follow a course, that there are certain skills you have to improve. So without these skills, you can't do the job. Right? So then this information help individuals to plan their career in a realistic manner. Realistic means that achievable manner. Because there are some jobs that they get some information, but they can't reach. As an example, imagine you want to be a pilot, but you know that's very expensive. Though you have that interest, becoming a pilot is not that easy, right? So sometimes you have to follow foreign courses, or you have to follow a course in the Air Force. So it's somewhat difficult. Therefore, realistic, if you want to achieve realistic, achieve that career in a realistic manner, so you have to get information and you can plan your career. Okay. right? So then, if I don't know whether you are familiar with the new reforms in education, because their idea is to improve this kind of education, rather than by hearting and vomiting at the exam. So their ambition is to identify the jobs available in the community and learn about them. So if we consider about that means somebody who is living in coastal areas, so they will learn how to make toddy, vinegar, and there are some other products. So they will learn about that, right? So, so they learn about all these things. They will visit the sites where the production is done. So they collect information about the jobs available in these companies. Then tourism. So in tourism industry, there are so many jobs available. Then community specific in the occupations, manpower trained requirements are provided. So there you can collect all these information. Okay? Information such as name and address of the organization, existing occupations, manpower requirements such as job openings. That means now sometimes, so during the season, when the foreigners come to Sri Lanka, there are so many jobs available. Then people can do some part-time jobs. Then they know what kind of jobs are opening. Then what is their eligibility, what are the qualifications they have to do the job, what are the requirements they have to do the job, and the salaries, right? So I remember this time a girl came for a college that earlier she had been doing front desk, something like that. So they're finding information about that means entering information of the foreigners, and also she was doing that kind of job. But she said during certain period of time, they don't have that job. So therefore, she needed a permanent job. Right. Then next one, want ad survey. So this is the best available option to get occupational information. So there are advertisements, right? So if the jobs now, especially in some countries, they have certain jobs that they open during certain period. So they tabulate in a table. So these are the jobs, these are the qualification required, these are the working hours. So these are the wages, this much of money is paid. So it provides information regarding job openings, possible job opening for the required workers during that time period. So I told you that during the time, that season, when the foreigners come, so that especially in some hotels, they have some jobs opening, so people can find. Right. So then, career talk. So this is the most effective manner of sharing occupational information. So then, when consider about career talk, so we have to consider about the age group, their interests, and what kind of jobs they seek, and their educational level, right? Then career talk provides information related to the general and specific nature of work. So then working conditions, under what conditions, sometimes they have shifts, they have to work at night, right? So they have long hours to work, right? Sometimes they have some hard work. Then they talk about salary, qualifications required, employment outlook, how do other people look at that job, right? And other related information, right? Then group discussion. So this can be done like now after finishing your A-levels, if you are searching for a job, a group can find information about different jobs. Then you can have group discussion. So for this job, these qualifications are required. And we can do these courses and trainings. So then after following the course that we can obtain this NVQ level. And they require this kind of abilities. So they highly appreciate soft skills rather than hard skills, right? Then communication skills, then teamwork. So they consider about all these things. So then you know that whether you are fit to do the job. So then in groups you can discuss. Then people who have particular qualifications, they can apply for the job. Right. So field trips. So now earlier, I remember that when we were students in the schools, we were taken to different companies, right? So Bata company, and sometimes we were brought to tea factories to show how tea is produced, right? So then I don't know now whether they have all these opportunities for the students. So then field trips provide first-hand and practical information about an occupation, right? And people, those who are interested in visiting industries, companies, work sites, they can go and learn. So then field trips are considered an enjoyable and interesting method of gaining relevant occupational information. So now in guidance and counseling, there is a topic, there is a model called, how do we call it? Parsonian model, right? Parsonian is a person. So now in America, USA, the agricultural industry was converted to trade. And how do you call it? The factories gave about a patuna, industrial changes were happened. So then he came to know that the students who were good at paperwork, paper and pencil work, they were unable to retain in these companies because they don't have the necessary skills. So he suggested the students, like A-level students, if we consider, A-level, so they were given the opportunities to visit these industries, right, during the Industrial Revolution. So they were allowed to visit these industries and learn the work. So then, after finishing their studies, when they go to these companies, they know what to do. Then they could remain in the jobs. That is called Parsonian model, right? So then, this is very, very important. So now I think according to the new curriculum reforms, field trips are introduced to students. So those who are in each area, they are allowed to visit certain places and learn how the work is done, how the production is done. Right. Then career exhibition. Right. So then tell me some career.
Yes. Yeah. Can we go with the slide back? Then it's easy to take the notes.
After
can you update the slide? Then it's easy to take the notes.
I have sent it to Mr. Richard.
Yeah, I got it on the screen also because we are still in the second slide, I think.
Oh,
so it's like
how is that? You can't see the word field trips?
No.
Sorry. Actually,
it's okay. Yeah.
So, what's the last part that you identified?
It's career development.
Okay.
The second, still I think it's a second slide.
Sorry. So you were too late to tell me. Okay, now. Can you see now? No.
Not yet. Still the same slide.
Okay, right. Well, I'm sorry. I feel really sorry. Now, can you see?
No, not yet. It's okay. Then is it something with the connection?
How about the others?
Ma'am, we can see the screen, but still we are in the second screen. But I think now we are in the 8th slide, no?
Okay, yes.
8th slide.
Okay, wait. Balmam resume share. Stop. You could have told me at the beginning of Brad. What can you see on the screen now? Career.
To the second slide.
Second one, ma'am.
Okay. Now, occupational sources, can you find?
Yes, now it's fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, right. I will just briefly tell you, it doesn't matter. Right. So then, because this is a very, very important thing, because that I told you, there are some children who drop out school early. Then you have to make them aware about the avenues. Otherwise, they will end up as three-wheeler drivers, or they will just end up their life on the culverts with others. So they will get used to consume various now toxic things. So rather than that, you can totally change the life of these students if you make them aware about the avenues they have, right? So I saw that on FB that they had uploaded a poster. Rather than being a three-wheeler driver, send your child to one of the technical colleges, right? So technical colleges, there are 36 technical colleges in our country, and there are so many courses available for cheaper rates. But the thing is, they should not exceed 25 years. So then if you exceed 25, that's very difficult, because I remember that we needed the qualification for our promotions, diploma in computer, 1 year diploma in computer. So we had to follow a course we had to follow a course. So then how can we go to a technical college, and even if we follow a course in some other advanced institutes, it's very expensive, right? So then finally we found an advertisement from the LabTech, Lalit Atulat Mudali Vocational Institute. So then we followed the course. So almost all the lecturers, they followed 1 year diploma. So we had to spend nearly 20,000 in 2019. So we completed it. Now it's a qualification for us now. But later on that we came to know that it's no more there. So therefore, luckily that we saw an advertisement. One of our lecturers, senior lecturers, had shared it in one of our groups. So we all applied, and in spite of the age, we could follow it. So therefore, if you find your students who is trying to drop out school early, show the path, because if they are misguided, that that what is happening in the country these days, very pathetic. Even these known people, that means educated people, even they are falling into troubles. So therefore, it's a great merit if you can change the life of people, right? So then if we consider about primary sources that we can get, from whom we can get primary sources, information about jobs.
Through newspapers.
No, Huta, that is from secondary sources. The primary sources, you can just see the upper one, primary sources. We can get it directly from the employer. Employer company and sometimes we can get information from the employees, workers. And sometimes government agencies, they publish, right? So then secondary sources means when these information go to newspapers and advertisements. The secondary source, primary source, secondary source information, websites, newspaper advertisements, brochures. Right. Okay. Can you see this slide? Can you see?
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay. Then other sources of information. Now here you can see lots of information. Now if you just scroll down your FB, you can find lots of information from other countries, right? So then international, national, local agencies and bodies that you can get lots of information about jobs. Right? Then there are different ways that we can collect these occupational information. One is follow-up survey. We can do a survey. So a survey can be done to collect necessary information about various employment opportunities. Now, if we consider what I told you that in the community, especially in Kandy area, so that Natharampota is very famous for producing brass products, right? So if you want to, there are many apprentices who learn under the main worker how to do these carvings, right? Lots of things. අපේ පන්සල් වල එහෙම තියෙන ලොකු පහන්, and even that you can find the sun, moon, certain plates, brass plates, right? So even recently there was one auntie that she brought some jewelry items, these brooches, then earrings, pendants. So they are durable, right? The color doesn't fade, so we can wear it for a long period of time. So then so these jobs available in communities can be collected, right? So then they need specific skills and they have to train under a main employer. කරන ලොකු බාසුන් යටතේ ඉගෙන ගන්න ඕනේ apprentices ලා විදියට. Then these surveys help the individual to plan their job in a realistic manner, right? Because sometimes I told you there are some children who want to become pilots, but you know that they need an intensive training for that. That simulation is done අපි ඇත්තම cockpit එකක් විදිහට සමහර තැන්වල හදලා එයාලට කියලා දෙනවා මෙන්න මෙහෙම තමයි මේක start කරන්නේ වගේ. Simulation activity. ඇත්තට මේක කරන විදිහ ඇත්තටම නෙවෙයි ඒක කරලා පෙන්නනවා. So then sometimes they have to spend nearly 40 lakhs or more than that to undergo a training. But if they can't afford, they can't. So therefore, if we have certain information about jobs, we can plan for a career in a realistic manner, achievable manner. In achieve කරගන්න බැරිව පසුදුවල වැඩක් නැහැනේ. අපිට achieve කරගන්න පුළුවන් ඒවා අපි මේ information වලින් තමයි හොයාගන්නේ. Right. Can you see the next one? Community occupational information.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So then I told you that now new reforms in education will be soon introduced in Sri Lanka, because that now the government has understood it's no use of this by hearting and checking the memory through summative tests. So therefore, now they are changing the system of education. So according to new reforms, what they do is the students are given some training. So if we consider about now people who are living in Kalutara, Payagala, Beruwala, so they can learn about fishing industry, how to prepare jardi, then dry fish, then so they prepare toddy, vinegar. So they like that, there are so many companies that this distillation is done to produce some alcohol products. So like that, the students are given the experience to learn about the jobs available in communities, in areas, right? So then so they learn that there's a list, then they can collect the name and address of the organization, the kind of occupations available, the manpower they require, that means the jobs they need, the entry requirement, the eligibility, qualifications they need to do the job, the salary. So they learn all these things before in this community, right? Then another one is want ad survey. So this is the best available option to get occupational information. That means now, now I saw in what's that country? Because I was searching some websites, YouTube. I was watching some YouTube information. Netherlands. So the one person said that there are seasonal jobs because during that season there are jobs for 3 months, right? So after applying for these 3 months jobs, then they can extend their stay in the country. That is what they say, right? So then it provides information regarding job openings, what kind of jobs are available during that time. Then the kind of workers they need during that time, because sometimes after when the spring comes, right? So they may open up some jobs, right? After the winter. Okay, can you see the next one? Career talk and group discussions. Can you see the slide?
Yeah, miss.
Right,
Yeah.
okay. So this is the most effective manner of sharing occupational information, because sometimes you get information from your friends, right? So I did not actually, when I was a student, I didn't know about these colleges of education opportunities. Then I was unable to apply for that. So like that, we learn about these opportunities from our friends, right? So those who are interested in applying. So then they keep in mind, but when they are doing the career talk, they have to think of the age group, the interest of those who seek information, and the educational level. So if we consider about the entry level of colleges of education, they have to be below 25 years. And these are the requirements for the job. Now here, if we consider about primary teachers, though they have a higher Z score, they need to complete, they need to have at least credit pass for English and mathematics, right? So we found a girl, actually, that we worried a lot, because one of the veteran actors, so then actually අපිට හරි සතුටුනා මේ ආව කිව්වහම, but she had only S pass for mathematics. එයා හරි worry වුණා මෙයාට ඒ qualification නැහැ කියලා. She has a high Z score, right? Because if you want to be a primary teacher, you should have a very good knowledge in mathematics and English, because a boy activity based oral English grade 1 to sometimes the teacher is teaching English for primary classes if you don't have English teacher, so therefore it is a must. Maths maths knowledge so the teacher is teaching for scholarships exam, so right? So career talk provides information related to the general and specific nature of work. So then career talk, they give information about general work and specific work. Working conditions. Now here, sometimes when you become a government servant, so you are abided by the law to work anywhere in the country. Now there are some students who have come from national level criteria. So they are, after finishing the course, they have to go to the north, like Mulativ, to work. So they agree to that condition and they are following the course, right? Then the salary, qualifications required for the job, how do other people look at that job, employment outlook, and other related information like training and other prospects that the opportunities the people have in that job. So there are so many things they can learn from career talk. If we consider about group discussion, right? So imagine now after then what? So they are well aware about the courses and jobs, so then they can find individuals after A levels, they are searching for jobs and qualifications and all, then they share. Then So those who are interested in that field, they can go for that job, right? Okay. Field trips, that when we were small, that we were taken to barter company, tea factories, then Ambevela, that milk factory. There we learned how the products are done. So what kind of human capital is needed, what kind of training skills are needed. They should be able to work on machines, right? Skillful in that. Okay. So then that they give first-hand experience, the practical information about the occupation for people, those who are interested in visiting those industries and learn. So it's very interesting to learn how they work and how they produce things. So I told you that according to new reforms, now they are focusing on giving the students experience about going for field trips. Then career exhibitions. So can you just name some career exhibitions that you can find at Bandaranaike Memorial Hall? So you can go there and learn about courses, jobs. edexcel, expo. So there are certain exhibitions, career exhibitions that they give information about different jobs. I remember once that we took some of our students to Bandaranaike Memorial Hall, that there was one resource person. He said that there are 25,000 job opportunities for people who have computer knowledge. Yeah, skills. There was a boy who has all the qualifications. But when they talk with him, he was not looking at the eyes of the people. So then they don't select these people. Right? So then there are so many things, even along with the qualifications, we have to improve soft skills, good communication skills, teamwork. Right? So they give the information about all these things in this career exhibition. Right. Then, right. Can you see the next one?
Yes, yes.
Right. School assemblies. Now, when we are having the school assembly, it's the ideal place we can give this information, because that sometimes the boys or some girls, they drop out school due to financial problems when they are in grade 8, grade 10. So they don't have a certificate to show. So they don't get any qualification to do a job. So they go odd jobs Amaru jobs podi wage, so they earn a very small salary, right? They can't run the family with that. So therefore, you can make them aware about opportunities, right? Then there are 36 vocational institutes, technical colleges in the country. There you can find automobile, mason work, carpentry, then they can reach to, so if the child has failed O-levels fail, they can follow these courses at a vocational training center, and if we earn that NVQ required level, it is equivalent to O-levels. So he can do. Then you can guide your students. I remember that when I was a teacher, when I took my first appointment, there was a very poor family, that there were a large number of children in that family. So the eldest child, so he had to, so they wanted to complete education. So later on, This boy, now when the others have gone for jobs and all, this boy said, Miss, I want to do my O-levels again. Then he was about 25 years old. ඒ වගේ. එතකොට යාලට ආස හිතෙනවා කරන්න. So then we can guide them to do follow courses at these technical colleges, earn this NVQ certain level and go for A levels. So rather than just letting them go for this unnecessary falling into troubles, you can guide them to do good jobs, because sometimes they earn a lot rather than those who are doing white collar jobs. Because if you consider about children who are following courses at German Tech, so we can't find anybody in Sri Lanka. Everybody is migrating to Australia and some other countries because they're improving their skills. That is what these countries require, right? Because they don't want to spend money for training these children. They may work with the skill they are coming. So they don't want to spend money. So they like people with skills, right? So then subject teaching, this is very, very important. So when you are teaching, subject teaching. So can you see the screen, subject teaching?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay. So when you are teaching, you teach these things. Actually, now I think most of you are teachers. You teach them the life, so they are falling into trouble unnecessarily. Teach them these things. So that's why we are learning guidance and counseling. So please do that. So when you are teaching your students, so before teaching, you teach them about what is happening, so how to avoid these things, even how to escape from that. So teach your students, not the syllabus එක මුගන්නලා වැඩක් නැහැ. මොකද අන්තිමට මේගොල්ලන්ට සමාජ දැනුමක් නැතුව ඒගොල්ලෝ ප්‍රශ්න වලට they fall into troubles, right? So then finally the parents, they suffer, right? Okay. The subject teaching. So this is the most effective technique of disseminating occupational information. When you're teaching, you can tell. Even when you are teaching, you can have a separate room for separate room by you can collect all the gazette notifications, then courses that you have, brochures, then what else? Handouts. Then when the children come, so they can just go through them and find information, right? So teachers should motivate the students to explore various avenues and gather more information. I think many are attending now, what is that? Technical colleges, because the rates are very low. So therefore, many of them know there are so many courses, so then many are attending, right? Publications. So then now we can publish about the jobs from time to time to provide occupational information for the students, those who are seeking jobs. Because now, because of the difficulties that they are facing with the economy, many drop out. So then being teachers, you have a responsibility to remain them. You can drop out so you can get help from some friends, those who are living in other countries, or well-wishers. At least once a year that you can ask them to buy some stationery for these children. And in some schools that they provide food for primary students, so like that you can do something to retain them in schools. So then foolish set of people will be remaining in the country. So they don't have any political knowledge, they don't have any social knowledge, right? So they are all intent to crimes. So therefore, it's your duty, being a teacher, to make them aware about these things and direct them at a very young age, direct them for their future. Right. Then individual techniques. Sometimes some children need individual help because they can't understand if they are given common instructions or common information. Therefore, individually, you have to attend to some children to help them to take decisions related to their job, right? Because some parents want them to do something else, but the child's interest is something else. So then you have to guide them because some children are in big trouble because of that, right? Then individual counseling sessions can be arranged to provide the necessary information to the person seeking the information. You can person disseminating information. Disseminating means you give the knowledge, information to the required child about essential knowledge, skills, relevant information about the job and all. Like an individual. So you are giving this knowledge to individual people, individuals. Then what are education information, right? So you can find lots of information about educational courses. Now, for my students, for guidance and counseling, I give them an assignment that is to, now it's a group work. Each child, now if there are 5 students in a group, each child has to find 3 institutes, right? Now, as an example, Univotech, LabTech, then KDU. So like that, each person has to find 3 institutes. Institutes tunagane group. So what they have to find? What are the courses available? Then what are the qualifications they need to follow the courses? Then after following the courses, what kind of qualification, the required NVQ level they can gain? And what are the jobs available? So then by doing this, they know that they can guide their students, those who drop out school or after finishing their education, that they can guide them to follow good courses, right? Then educational institutes offer special education courses and relevant information to students and those who want to pursue their career along with their education, right? So now as an example, I told you, you don't need to end up your job as a teacher. There are so many opportunities. So you can do your degrees. If you get a class, then you can apply for, you apply for a university lecturer. Then you can do postgraduate diplomas. Now here B.Ed, you don't need to do postgraduate diploma. You can do masters, then MPhil, PhD. Then you can become a professor, right? So there are so many opportunities, avenues, rather than ending up your job as a teacher, right? Okay. So educational information can be disseminated in different ways. I told you talks and lectures. So we discussed about that. We can disseminate knowledge through lectures while teaching in the classroom. You can tell the students, they give information about the jobs, the requirements, what kind of qualifications are required, what kind of institutes that you can follow the courses, the fee, and other information, right? Then I told you educational exhibitions and career fair. So they advertise about career fair and education exhibitions like EdExcel, Expo, and there are so many. If you attend that, they give lots of information regarding their courses and the job opportunities, right? So I came to know that through one of the professors that he said that some Indian investors came to Sri Lanka. They wanted to establish a company related to IT with 23,000 people from Sri Lanka. But they couldn't find, because from the government sector, from government universities, they are producing nearly 1,000 something per year. And the rest they produce from the private universities, but that is not enough. So they had to bring the rest from their country. So that is the situation, right? So publications, I told you that you can publish information about jobs, relevant courses, qualifications required and all in weekly publications or quarterly. So then the students, they can find job opportunities available and the courses they want to find. The schools and colleges, while the teacher is teaching, they can disseminate knowledge about the jobs available. I think it's better if the teachers make the children aware about jobs from the very beginning. ළමයි grade 5 6 වලින් ඉඳන් මෙයාලගේ ඔළුවට දාන්න ඕනි. මෙහෙම හොඳට ඉගෙන ගන්න ඕනි. මෙන්න මේ වගේ jobs තියෙනවා. So there are courses you can follow. වගේ පොඩි කාලේ ඉඳන් මෙයාලගේ ඔළුව තිබුණොත් ඒ අනවශ්‍ය දේවල් වලට යන එක ඒගොල්ලෝ කරන එකක් නෑ. Then individual counseling. So there are some people who need individual advice from known people, but here the person should be well aware about the information. The information should be 100% correct. So the person should know correct information when giving that to the students, right? So in addition, teachers, parents, peers, they can provide information to students, right? Okay. So occupational outlook means how do other people look at their job, right? So then in USA that you know that now you know that you have the idea that how do they advertise the jobs. So then this is a career resource that offers information related to hundreds of occupations in USA. They come to know about the jobs available, right? So there's a book about each occupation. So then it describes the duties, what kind of work environment you get to work, the educational standard that they expect, the kind of training they expect, the salary that is given for the job. So everything is in the job. Then you don't need to go behind people. So you can just read it and learn, right? Then section of occupational profile. If you go to an occupational profile, you can find a summary. You can find a summary of facts about the job so they are published in a table. It's easy. Then we don't need to read a lot of things. That in a table, at a glance, we can learn about all the necessary things. So what they do, work environment, how to become an employer there, employee, payment, how do other people look at the job, so in which state or area you find this job, and more information, right? So there are further information. Okay, typical entry-level education means education qualifications that are needed for the job, work experience in a related occupation, because I told you some employers, they seek experienced people because they don't need to spend money on training or giving education to these people. So then that's an advantage for them. Then work experience in a related occupation. So then I told you that they like people who have work experience in the same field. They have some jobs in education. So if you have the required qualification in education, they will recruit you as an employee because they save training, the money, the cost for training and education. Then on-job training. That means sometimes when the job seekers, when they are taken in, they have to give training in order to provide with necessary skills, abilities for the person to work. Okay. What they do means the kind of job they have to engage in. So what kind of environment, what kind of tools, the gear or the uniforms they have to wear. Then a list of duties and tasks to be performed. So they provide information related to the equipment. I told you, equipment, handle karana tools, software, or other items. Because now, if we consider about housemates, before they leave to a particular country, they are given a training on how to operate certain electric equipment. It also gives information about the target groups. That means with whom you have to work, right? So with whom you have to interact while working. Then your working environment. It provides information related to the work environment or the work conditions, right? So time period, what kind of, whether you have heavy work load or you have to work with machines, right? Or the light equipment that is given. Then they provide details related to the workplace, time period we discussed, physical activities involved in the work. So field work, if you have, right? You have to work in agriculture field. So then what kind of work you have to do? So whether you need to travel, whether there are hazardous work, අනුතුරුදායක දේවල් කරන්න තියෙනවද? So list the type of equipment and gear workers are supposed to wear. So all these information is given. Then work schedule. So this section provides information about schedule of the worker during the working hours. Full-time work, the part-time, the seasonal, the season vitarada, right? Or it's a continuous work, right? Amount of time he has to work by a then whether they are paid weekly or hourly, then how to become an employee, right? Okay, so how can you enter the job? So your educational requirements to do the job. What kind of skills you need to improve, the work experience they expect, the certificates you have gathered, right? Then how can you get registered for the job? Because in most of the countries, they expect the worker to have a license. License formal jobs, right? Education, educational requirement for a job. So we need to know about different educational backgrounds and whether you can work with the group. So you have lots of qualifications, but you don't have that. You can't work with a team. Right? So sometimes you have got the qualification from some other country, but when you are working with people that you don't like to listen to them, right? So you won't become a boss there. You are a bossy character, then you don't need to listen to them. So then you are not fit to that job. Then special courses and training programs the workers can follow before entering the job to improve their skills. Right. Then work experience in a related occupation, right? So I told you, sometimes they require some experience of the worker and the number of years they have worked. Now, for example, if you want to follow TESOL, teaching English as second language, you need to work in a school after your training a certain period of time. Full-time course. So some employers, they like employees who have work experience in the particular field, rather than employing fresh people. They like, because that when they take experienced people, when they come across some problems, they know how to solve that. They had practical knowledge, so they quickly attend to it and solve, rather than fresh people, right? Fresh graduates, right? That's why it is about training. So we discussed about it. So this training actually increase the productivity because they have the knowledge. If they find some problems, they know how to solve. So then they have problem solving skills, analytical skills. So they try to solve it immediately, unlike those fresh graduates. Right. So then if they, as I told, that apprenticeship. Apprenticeship means that you are training under some experts. So then if you, they give information about this. So after, so there are some courses where NITA, NIBM, after following that, you are put into certain companies to get your training. You are given internship training or particular training related to the job for a certain period of time, about 6 months, right? Then sometimes you are given residential programs before entering the job. So other experiences rather than educational qualifications, that you need to have vocational training. If you have worked in voluntary service, so in Canada and some other countries, they expect this, right? So they expect the people to, even I have one of my friends that who migrated. Now her eldest daughter is 14 years old now. Yes, she's doing 14. She's doing all levels. So it is a must for them to go out for a job and earn. So that is when they, now once they leave, once they finish the education, it's a qualification for them to enter a job. Right. Right. License and certification. So though we do not have this license in our country, other countries, they provide a license after, so once they follow the necessary courses and they become qualified in it. Qualified profession, so they are given a license and they have to update it from time to time. So they are not given license for other odd jobs like cleaning, shopkeeping, working in restaurants, but for other jobs they give, it's a must to have a license and update. Update karadi teyala courses karanoni, they have to update their knowledge, right? So then, in order to get a license, workers have to follow courses, they have to appear for exams, qualifying them, they have to update their license from time to time by following some other relevant courses, right? So these requirements, they change from country to country, state to state, right? So then you have to, when you are applying for a job, you have to see if you are applying for a certain state, you have to find required information for the job in that state, right? Right. Now, this is a summary. Now, this is the end of the lesson related to vocational guidance. So here you can find a summary of what we have discussed up to now. You contain a summary. So you can read right here. You come summary. Can you see, girls?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Right. Okay, right. So you can go through them because we have discussed all. These are key terms: formal education, eclectic counseling, we discussed, psychotherapy, vocational counseling, self-directed learning. Right? We discussed all. Right. Now here, there are some short answer questions. So you can answer them. Right? You can answer these questions. Whether you can answer these questions. Then this is these are long answers. Up make it when may what are the types of areas of guidance? Mention the aims of guidance by state the Kutare duty and we did. Write short notes on the following: non-directive counseling and vocational guidance. Briefly discuss the difference between counseling and psychotherapy. I have shared a document. I can show you. Now work individually. First you have to write about similarities. Then you have to discuss about differences. We will discuss that. And if you have not written about the differences, similarities and differences between guidance and counseling, I have that note also. Then once you finish, I can show you. If either you can write or I can send. So shall we do this first? It won't take much time because everything is in that document, small one. So we can discuss, right? Let me share it. Here I want to show this also. We'll make a pen. Can you see this? Make a pen.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So then this is I have taken from Lab Tech, Lalit Atulat Mudali Vocational Training Center. So these are the courses, right? So if you want to guide your student, because that is they conduct under National Youth Council. ඒකෙන් තමයි මේක කරන්නේ. National Vocational Qualification NVQ එක හම්බ වෙනවා ඒකේ. So you can find these courses. Maybe degree in Applied Information Technology 3 years. National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology. Even there are bridal courses, automobile, ඒගොල්ලෝ කාර් ගලවනවා, හදනවා. Right? There are so many courses here. NVQ level is mentioned there. Right? Full-time courses, part-time courses. There are a large number of courses. So you can ask your students to follow the courses. Everything is there. So then they can follow courses. Then right, okay. Right, I will share this. Right, difference between, can you see, you know that? Can you see the document? Even I have shared it. Can you see the document?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I will give you 10 minutes or even 15 minutes for you to write the similarities and differences. Sometimes you may get it as a question. So then we can discuss. Okay. Take the time and we'll meet at, what's the time? 8:31, 8:40. Even I can, once you finish this, we can discuss and I can stop the class. Okay. So because
Can
this,
you share this on?
Abda? What's
Can
that?
you share this in the chat, ma'am?
This one?
Yeah.
Okay. Can anybody share that? I can't remember how to do that. Wait. Hari. File. Microsoft SharePoint. Hari, I'll do that. Your Microsoft Word document docs cannot be sent because it is currently in use. May I stop share. Right. I will send. Stop sharing. Okay. Right. Did you receive that? Did you receive that? I think only for Iresha say one. I have sent. Iresha, can you just send it to the others? Others can't see?
Can't please.
Only
Not yet.
Iresha, that you can you share it to the group? Iresha, are you there? I'll do it again. Wait. Now, if you just, if I open it and if I scroll down, can't you do it? Because that it has gone to only one person, I remember, as I feel.
Yeah, no worries, ma'am. Yeah, no worries. You can put it on the screen. Yes.
I will do it. I'll be here. So can you see now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, right. Only very little that now after this, there are only very few. Yeah, only very few lines are there. Okay. Now, at the beginning, that you can find only the similarities. If you want, you can talk to me. I'm close by. Did you write the similarities, or are you still writing? So if you get the same question, that it will be easy for you. Okay, are you still writing the similarities or have you finished?
Finish, ma'am.
Okay, read one similarity, Buddha.
Both can be affected for wide range of people who has personal and psychological problems.
Yes. Okay, right.
Mm.
Another one? Okay, yes. You want to tell another one?
Yeah, understanding a person's feeling and behaviors and addressing issues by themselves.
Okay, so then we let them understand their feelings and psychological issues by themselves, right? I need another one to talk.
In both the services, they are trying to identify the problem and find the positive solution over there.
Yes, because in both psychotherapy and counseling, they try to identify the problem, right? And they understand the problem and find possible solutions by themselves. Okay, another one. Yes. Okay. It's your chance.
Both are used often interchangeably.
What is that, Puta? Both?
Both are often used interchangeably.
Yeah, that means that we can use either counseling or psychotherapy for the problems, right? We can interchangeably means counseling denna pulang, psychotherapy denna pulang. Okay, another one. Okay, quickly. Then you will
Professional service in both parties, like counseling and psychotherapy, both are professional services.
Yes, both are professional services.
Both can be improve person's life.
Both can be improve total personality. Yeah, that is called total personality. Personal life means total personality. Personality not only the physical appearance, then the skills, then leadership, that means adjustable skills and everything. Okay, another one.
Both are collaborative treatments.
Yes, both are collaborative treatments. Who are collaborating in this? Who are collaborating here?
Counseling and counselor.
And counselor.
Yeah, counselor and the client. They collaboratively work on them. It's a collaborative treatment. It's a relationship based on the relationship of an individual and a psychotherapist or a counselor. Okay. Any other similarities that you find? Right now here that you can find, see whether you can find it. The various approaches to psychotherapy include cognitive behavioral approach, interpersonal approach, and talking therapy. Right? So these are the therapies we use. Psychotherapy focuses on working with an individual as long as the person does not feel mature enough to face his problem. So we give both psychotherapy and counseling for people, those who are not mature enough to find a solution to their problem or to face the problem, right? Both psychotherapy and counseling are given to individuals, those who are not mature enough to face the problem. So then outsider does it for the person. Then if we consider about differences, one difference.
if that
If I tell counseling is offered as a part of psychotherapy. Counseling is a part of psychotherapy. Psychotherapy is කොටසක් තමයි. Right? Counseling can. So if you consider about psychotherapy, that we give cognitive behavioral approach, CBT. Cognitive behavioral approach means, according to this, they tell people have problems because they have negative feelings. Negative හිතන හින්දා. They have negative perceptions about everything. So then, if they have negative feelings, it affects their, that is a thought. Negative feeling is a thought. Then if it affects their emotions. Now, as an example, imagine you have set of friends. So you feel that, so they always try to ill-treat me, horn me. මේගොල්ලෝ මං ගැන එක එකව කතා වෙනවා. මාව කොන් කරනවා. But it's not the real thing. But you feel that. That is your cognition. As a result, your emotions are changed. How does it change? කොහොමද වෙනස් වෙන emotions? Now you think මේගොල්ලෝ හැමතිස්සෙම මං ගැන තමයි කතා වෙන්නේ. They are talking about myself. They are conspiring against myself. Then how do you feel? Are you happy? Are you happy if you feel that they are talking about yourself and they are trying to do something against you? No. Then you are unhappy. So you want to be isolated from them. You don't want to work with them. Right? Then what is your behavior? As a result, what happens to your behavior? How does it change? So you are playing with them, cracking jokes and taking selfies. Are you doing that? Now, if you have that kind of cognition, that kind of belief, and if you have very wrong emotions, sad emotions, your behavior changes. How do you behave? You try to become isolated. You try to avoid them. So you just don't want to talk to them. Right? So then your behavior changes because of the wrong thinking. So that is why we give this behavior, what's that? Cognitive behavior therapy, this treatment. So they are the therapists, they give the particular person bibliotherapy. Bibliotherapy කියන්නේ යාට තියෙනවා ලියන්න කියලා යාගේ හිතන දේවල් ඔක්කොම. So then ask him to analyze what he thinks. Then later on, he or she identifies his thinking is wrong. That is how he corrects his behavior. Cognitive behavior therapy. Sometimes we will have it in the syllabus, right? Okay. So do you have some friends like that? So if you are living in hostels, that you may have these kind of friends. So you can help them because it's some kind of immature quality or some kind of problem with their personality. Okay. So then tell me one difference.
Counseling is short-term treatment.
Counseling
Is short-term treatment,
okay.
and psychotherapy is a long-term process.
Okay.
Ma'am, counseling is focused on the present problem and the situations, but the psychotherapy, they focus on the chronic or recurrent problems they face.
Yes, chronic or recurrent.
Yes.
Here the therapist tell, now if you find a solution to this problem, now if you find another problem in the future, you should be able to face it as the way that you face this problem. Right. Okay, then like another one.
That counseling can be taken as a talking therapy. And psychotherapy, ma'am, can we do some personality test and we can find out what are the real problem within the person.
Okay. Another one.
Psychotherapy enables an individual to examine the feelings, actions, and thoughts. Counseling enables an individual to explore personal development and bring about adjustments.
Okay. Another one. Right. Some more. Okay, some more. Counseling is a therapeutic treatment. Therapeutic treatment, those who have understanding of their well-being. Psychotherapy, for what does it help? Oh,
It's helping develop habits and promote their well-being.
yes. Now, as an example, bibliotherapy. They do bibliotherapy when they have the right and compare with what they think and actual thinking. So they practice it. Right? Habit. Okay. Another one.
Counseling enables people to identify their problems.
Mhm.
Then psychotherapy basically helps people to identify and solve psychological problems.
Okay. Are there any other differences? Counseling focuses on the problem, then the basis of the problem, the reason for the problem. Then thereby they find a solution. But psychotherapy focuses on the reason and causes. ඒකට මොකද්ද හේතුව? that මොකද්ද? මොකද්ද ඒකට කියන්නේ? Cause and effect වගේ focuses on the reason and causes that underlie the problem. එකට හේතු වෙන reason එක ඒගොල්ලෝ හොයා ගන්නවා and focuses on changing that thought process. ඒක හොයාගෙන ඒක වෙනස් කරනවා. They change the thought process. يعني CBT, this CBT, that this therapy, the counselor cannot do anything because the client should agree to change the way of thinking. හිතන විදිහ කාටවත් වෙනස් කරන්න බෑනේ, counselor වෙනස් කරන්න බෑනේ, තමන්ම වෙනස් කරගන්න. So the person who has wrong thinking has to change it. So therefore the person should agree to change the thought process. හිතන විදිහ වෙනස් කරන්න, right, of the individual. Then thereby they face the problem. Okay, so you can do it as a homework, and we are starting a new unit next day. Okay, thank you for joining. Is there anything that you want to clarify? That's all. Okay, so we'll wind up. So thank you for joining. You write the note and ask the questions and be prepared and read the summary, and there are extra reading materials. You can read them and be a counselor, a good counselor, not a person who has bookish knowledge, but who can really help the individuals that you come across to change the world. So then we can stop this killing, dying, unnecessary problems, right? Okay, so teachers have a greater responsibility towards the society. So I think that by learning all these things, you will fulfill that responsibility for the country. Okay, so thank you for joining. We'll meet in the future.
Thank you, Miss.
Okay.
Good night.
Good.
Thank you.
Good night.